you know bass fishing can actually be a very competitive sport? Hello, my name is Owen Wolf, and I have been fishing and researching the ins and outs of fishing for nearly 13 years. I will provide you with information about how to find bass, what baits to use, and how to let your bass grow. According to Finding Big Bass by Tom Reddington, you will have more success in bass fishing if you know what to look for in a pond. You can go out to a random pond and cast a line and hope that you'll catch a fish, but there are certain things you can look for that will give you more success. One thing you want to look for is something that breaks up the current. It can be a large rock, bridge pilings, or even wood clumps. Bass like to sit in these areas and wait for smaller prey that are fighting the current to pass. You can also look for laydowns. This gives the bass horizontal cover and overhead protection. This can be large trees, large fallen trees. The most important thing you want to look for is a pond with adequate vegetation, things such as weeds, grass, or even lily pads. If the pond doesn't have adequate vegetation, more than likely there's not going to be many fish in there. According to Great Baits by Boys Quest, certain lures and hooks work better for particular situations. Crankbaits, such as this, you use if you're trying to pick off more aggressive fish. The blades on it make a lot of commotion in the water, and the big fish go for those first. Now, if you have a stump out in the middle of the pond, you want to cast around, you would use a more subtle lure, something like a lizard, or crawdad. These lures you just throw in the water and you flick and reel in slowly. And the bass that are spawning or bedding down and looking for easy meal, we'll eat those first. Other things you can use are buzz baits like this. You use these on an overcast or a rainy day. You reel them in fast and he stays on top of the water where some bass would be. Another important tip is to know what color lure to use and what kind of pond. If it's a dark, murky pond, you want to use dark colored baits. And if it's a light colored pond, you want to use light colored baits. It's also important to know what kind of hooks to use. The higher gauge hook, like these, you want to use for a pond that you know will have bigger bass. It'll be easier to catch them and less of a chance that they'll bend a hook. And vice versa, if you have a pond where you know small bass are, you want to use the smaller alt hooks, such as these. If you're trying to grow bass in your local pond to be as big as possible, you may want to take into account some of these tips. The LSU Ag Center says it is important to know what bass to keep and which bass to release in order to grow the largest bass possible. If your pond is overpopulated, you want to try to keep as many bass as you catch. If the pond is overpopulated and there are too many fish, there won't be enough food or oxygen for the fish to live. Now, if your pond is underpopulated, it kind of goes without saying that you don't want to keep any of the bass that you catch, especially if they're pregnant. And if you're just trying to grow your pond, have the biggest bass possible, you don't want to keep any bass that are under 12 inches long. You want to keep all the small ones in there and give them time to grow and reproduce. I have provided you with the techniques needed for catching and preserving bass. As you can see, bass fishing can be more complex than just going out and casting a line.